All right. I think that we are live on YouTube, and let me start the podcast there, Ando.
Let's do
Welcome
it.
back, everyone, to Daily DVR. It is Friday Fun Day with Ando and Axel. We are here. We're live on the YouTube. Subscribe to us, like us, do all that kind of stuff. Subscribe to our Facebook group, Daily DVR TV and Film Group, if you want to get updated when we are going live, because that's what we are doing now. Check us out at dvrpodcast.com. And also, please check us out on our Patreon, patreon.com/DVR, because we have to say hello again to Grandpa James. Grandpa James, I don't I think he adjusted his patronage, but it told me about it, and I want to say hello to him. He's always a patron to me anyway.
Well,
Uh,
I know he commented on
yeah.
your Facebook post that he was going to be watching today. So,
Okay, well, that's good. We love you, Grandpa. James, you are the man. We love everything you post. You are awesome. And hopefully, we'll talk about something of interest to you today here on the show. Ando, before we started, first of all, how are you doing?
I'm good. It's what we call fake summer here in Minnesota. It's currently 82 degrees outside, and tomorrow the high is 41. So I'm on a roller coaster cycle right now. So yeah, I'm in my
Wow.
shorts and I'll get my winter jacket out again tomorrow. So a
Wow.
very fun little week for me. How
Yeah,
about you?
well, we had a similar type thing where it was like 68, 72, almost 80. And
Hmm.
then they were like, it's going to storm because, the hot air and the cold air are going to mix.
Yep.
No one likes it when that happens.
Yeah, we're supposed to have rain and snow probably tomorrow because of that
Oh,
40-degree drop. So,
see, so strange. But it didn't happen. It got cold,
hmm.
right? Like all of a sudden it got cold, but it just rained a little. And I said, oh, we missed a storm. And Lachlan was like, how do you know? And I was like, because it's already cold. I can see the clouds. I think we're
When
going to
Luke
be
tells me
okay.
that kind of thing, how did you know? I'm like, because I'm an old man and that's all we do is we study the weather.
Because I'm old.
Yes.
Well, you know better than me. You're an actual farmer. I'm just some dude. Um,
I don't know how accurate that is. Just
uh,
farming does not make, I don't know if that makes someone wise or stupid. It's a fine line.
well, that's true, I guess. I guess everything is relative in this world, isn't it,
Yeah,
Andy?
that's exactly right.
Um, so before we started the show, you said, "Hey, I just finished Invincible,"
Yes,
and
last night.
yeah, I'm a huge fan of that show. So let's start off. This is going to be This whole thing is going to be spoilers, so you can dip in and out. I'll do my best to do the times. If I don't, just skip ahead. All the stuff we're talking about is over already for the spoilers that we're going to talk about. So, and this was season 3 of
And
Invincible.
and I had actually when I finished it last night, I had to look it up because they've done so many weird splitting of seasons and stuff. Wasn't even
Yeah,
sure which season this was. Was it season three, season four?
yeah.
Because I couldn't keep because the release schedule for this one has been so strange.
Yeah, they split season 2. Now, there was, because of the writer's strike, a writers and actors strike, and COVID, there was a really big gap, right?
Oh, that's right.
And what Amazon did now, I can't blame them completely because they were like, hey, we just want to get the episodes out, right?
Yep. And
So,
everybody was pumping stuff out at that point. They
yes,
were anything, even if it wasn't quite ready, they were
exactly.
dumping it.
So you can't blame them completely because if they had waited for the whole season to be ready, it would have been like another 6 months. It would have been
Yeah.
like 3 years or something since the first season.
Hmm.
So you can't blame them, but it did feel kind of weird. I love this show. I think Invincible is one of the most intense, emotional, sometimes funny, weird superhero shows that has ever been. I honestly put it up there. I mean, I try to think of there's Watchmen, which is kind of different, but it is a superhero show.
Hmm.
Um, stuff like the Penguin and stuff. But I think Invincible, even though great Colin Farrell, I think Invincible is better than Penguin overall. The voice acting is amazing. I love this show.
Yeah, the voice acting is great. You're right, 'cause it's a little bit like Watchmen. It's also a little bit like The Boys, but it's not entirely like The Boys either. It's an odd mix, and it's a show I don't often think about, but I always end up enjoying it.
Yeah.
What did you think about this season?
Well, um,
Oh, and you know what? Before I forget, did you ever watch, besides the three seasons, did you ever watch the spin-off movie thing? It
yeah, I
actually is
did.
important to watch, I think. It's a plays a
Yeah.
big part in it, which
I,
I
I
enjoyed that as well.
yes, I liked it a lot too. Um, you know, man, it's a tough one for me because this is the type of show where they've done so much crazy stuff with it that I don't want to use the phrase like kind of wrote themselves into a corner, or I appreciate the exact shit that Kirkman wouldn't do with The Walking Dead, he does with Invincible.
That's a
And
100% right. That's a
and
great way to explain it.
right, like he was like on The Walking Dead, I'm not getting into mythology. We're talking about the characters, okay?
And it's
We're gonna
yeah, a big holding pattern, and nothing really,
yes.
besides character moments, nothing really happens for most large chunks of the season.
Yeah, and we're never gonna really know. We're never
Yeah,
gonna have a battle to get a cure. We're never gonna do
yep,
this kind of stuff, right? But in Invincible, he's like, oh, we're not only are we talking about the cure, we're talking about its history, its mythology, its people. He goes nuts going deep, and the other writers and creators here goes nuts creating this world, but it's almost like it's a bit too much, like I love it. This season was awesome, but it's kind of repetitive. I understand he doesn't want it. This whole season really about him not wanting to kill someone. He believes he killed the mad doctor played by
yeah.
Sterling K. Brown.
I did see what you meant here. A couple. I must was it the Severance one of the Severance podcasts we were talking about Christopher Walken, and you said how Sterling K. Brown is becoming that Chris Walken with the very
Yeah,
specific way of speaking and the being able to change from threatening to nice in the same
yeah.
sentence. And I was like, yeah, I see what you're saying now after this last season of this show.
He's amazing.
Hmm.
But I guess to answer your question, Andy, I loved it. I watched every episode. I enjoyed it. I only ever have to stop watching this show because it's so super violent. I have to be in a certain like I can't watch this during the day.
Yeah,
It's just that's not my days
I was
aren't that
I,
violent.
when I was watching it last night, I was actually thinking to myself, would I be able to watch this if it was live action? Because it might be. It's so the violence is so over the
Yeah,
top.
it's so over the top. And I understand for some awful reason this is what people crave, right? They want to see people's arms torn off and for some reason, you know what I think it is, Andy? I'll tell you what I think it is, okay? I'm gonna go down a fucking hole here. Are you ready for
Well,
this?
it's Friday. I need to get you wound up.
This isn't gonna wild me up too much, but it's gonna be a quickie. On White Lotus this week, we talked about how the repression of sexuality leads to unusual behavior and
Yeah,
perhaps
yeah.
sometimes risky sexual behavior.
Uh-huh.
And I brought up, everyone's favorite Catholic priests and stuff. When you push it down and say it doesn't exist, but hey, this happens with Buddhist monks too. When you push it down and say it doesn't exist, it's the only thing that exists,
Hmm.
and it can come to dominate you. Well, I feel that the effort to hide the cost and horror of the Iran and Iraq, I should say Iraq and Afghanistan wars that America fought for 20 something years has led the American public to have this secret thirst to want to see the gruesome. I think it began kind of with 9/11. Like I just think that there's some kind of almost sick fascination with pushing it away and say, no to the terrorists and no that, but then there's like this, it becomes like a sick fascination. And I do think that this show deals with that. I think if you talk to Kirkman and the guys involved, I think that they would agree with me. And they would
Hmm.
say, of course, look at the violence in this show. But then I also kind of say like Do you ever watch this show, Andy, and you're like, enough? I get it.
Yeah, well, even this is a show I cannot really binge. Like I watched the first because what it probably started airing what 2 months ago. I think I watched the first two episodes, and I took like a 3 or 4 week break, and then I watched another two, and I watched like three. I watched in the last day and a half. But yeah, that's you can't. Yeah, sometimes you have to take a break from it. It is too. It's intense.
Yes, it's very intense, and it's intense for the characters too. Like when you think
Yeah,
about this show, you
yeah.
think of Stephen Wen is how you pronounce his name. I'm not sure.
Yoon,
Wen,
maybe. I'm not sure. I
Yoon.
don't.
Okay,
I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I can't
great
remember.
actor. We know who I'm talking about. I
Yeah,
won't butcher it. I hear
from The
just his,
Walking Dead.
yeah,
Glenn from The
from The
Walking
Walking
Dead.
Dead. Yeah,
There's actually a
but
lot of Walking Dead alumni in this
there are.
series.
Don't you hear him like, yeah, like that? Like you hear the scream
Yeah.
when you think of this show, his primal scream, and it's
Uh-huh.
kind of disturbing. This show is fucking disturbing,
Yeah.
but it is smartly written. My disappointment with this season came only in the final episode where I heard people saying like on IMDb it's rated as like as good as the Battle of the Bastards and all this shit.
Yeah. I saw the same. I think it's still like at 9.9 or
Yeah,
9.8 or something.
it's the same episode as the finale to season one. Does not do people not
It's
understand that? I don't like it's on
and
purposefully the same episode.
yeah, and I still liked it a lot. And I liked the actually the second to last episode. I thought that was the best episode.
I
The
agree.
big the one with Sterling K. Brown, the big battle one, and the day one, day two, day
Yeah,
three. I thought that should have been the finale, personally, but
100%.
and I have a little bit of a similar complaint as you about the almost I don't want to say too much going on, but there's a little too much of the we're going to bring back someone that was a season and a half ago that was in it for 10 minutes and you don't really remember. I like a few times, and you know how I am with shows with
Yeah,
Severance or all these other things, and I know every little detail of everything. I would have to go on the Wikipedia page and I'm like, okay, where was this person from again? And there's so much packed in there that I don't know. I don't know if it needs to breathe more or cut a few little things down, but it was just so much. It's so sprawling. It's become so,
yeah.
even though
It's a
it's still
comic
about,
book, man. That's
yeah,
the
but
problem,
yeah,
right,
it's
Andy? Like
crazy.
you the storytelling in comic books is different, and you see
Hmm.
Marvel how they fucked up the multiverse and no
Yeah.
one gives a shit anymore, but I'll care when X-Men comes back in Fantastic Four. I'm way back in. I'm gonna be like the biggest Marvel person ever and
Hmm.
back again but hey, you know what? There's some good stuff, there's some bad stuff. I'm not gonna shit on it. I do enjoy those films even when they're
Well,
not
and
awesome.
sometimes you have
But
to have the lows to have the highs again.
yes. And you know, you try something, you go in a direction, it doesn't work. You
Hmm.
go in a different direction. But
Yep.
Invincible does kind of have that issue. The thing for me is we're headed towards an inevitable um, kind of team up of father and son again because he's turned again the dad has turned against the Viltrumites, but it's been like that for a season and
I
like
know
it's been like that for a long
some
time.
of that seems like it's getting a little too drawn out. The
And where was Seth Rogen and him in the
yeah,
final couple episodes? We didn't see them again. They got into this battle
yeah. I
and then
and
they
that was
escaped.
and that episode that they had, that was like the post credits thing that they do. I do love how they switch
I
up the
do love
editing
that. Yeah.
where yeah,
Yeah.
they'll just have the Invincible logo at the beginning and it might be 10 minutes into the show and then they might do a 20-minute post credit sequence or something. I love how they do that.
I can hear the end credit music where it's like dan and then it just cuts
Yeah.
off,
Yeah.
right? And then something else happens. The way overall, this is a great show.
Uh-huh.
I really would I would suggest it to anyone with the caveat that you have to be okay with the ultra violence in it because that's a
Yeah.
staple of this show. That's the
Yep.
point of the show, really. And I think they know that. But I
Hmm.
do think that you do get to a certain point where it's too much. And you're just becoming, again, I'll say it happens so much when the face becomes the mask, when the mask becomes the face. That's what happens. It just becomes a violent show. The
Yeah.
boys kind of the boys is a little bit different because it doesn't care about teaching you anything really.
Yeah. The Boys is a lot sillier too, I think.
yes, thank you.
Just
Though
not
it
as
does care
serious
about
and
I guess it does care about teaching you something. Some people think too much, but I think it is silly.
Hmm.
Whereas and also it has that sexual component
Yeah.
where this doesn't really have that. And it's really about a young boy and his father and all that kind of stuff. But I
Yeah.
want them to
And
move it along a little bit, though I fear, Andy, this is like a 48 season show,
that's that was the thing that
you know?
I also thought about this. I'm like, okay, they're not gonna cash in on Mark and his dad teaming up again. Or were they just gonna keep holding, just like they did with The Walking Dead, where they just kept holding it, and I'm like, oh, you don't make this The Walking Dead like that. Have a 5 season arc,
Carl!
or yeah, ugh. I mean, and
Carl!
the other good thing about this show is that it's part
Carl!
of Walton Goggins' ongoing conquest to conquer all of television at one time.
Oh God, he's so good. Mark.
Every single show, I think he's in at least 3 shows airing right now at the same time. So with
Yeah, he's
Invincible, White Lotus,
fantastic.
and Righteous Gemstones too, he's in.
Oh, and then Fallout will come
Oh, and
back,
Fallout, yeah. So yeah,
and then you just rewatch The Shield, which is something that I always want to do, but then I watch the first episode and I'm kind of like, holy fuck, this is grim.
yeah.
Like I got to be in a certain mood, dude, you know?
That show, specifically his character and what happens with his character, that is, I've
Oh
only
God.
watched that episode one time, and it is burned into. I have the box set, the super nice box set sitting downstairs that I have not opened because I'm like, I'm not ready to watch this, and that's been what, 15 years, 10
Yeah.
years.
No
I'm not.
spoilers, Ando.
Yeah,
No
I'm not ready
spoilers.
to go back to that show yet because it's so. There's so many images from that show that are just, oof, man.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah, The Shield is it's a certain time too. Like it brings you back to a certain time in like the country, LA,
Yeah.
Michael Chiklis' bald head. It's something that he's like, I ain't the mayor anymore, motherfucker. I'm gonna fucking do some
Oh man,
illegal stuff.
what a freaking show. I should watch some of that
Yeah,
again because it's been way too long, but
yeah. I should, but it like I said, it's kind of grim.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, Invincible. I'm gonna keep watching the show.
Yeah, I
It
am too,
does.
for sure.
But I do get the feeling that much like The Walking Dead, there is no plan to ever end this. And I don't know if the comic still continues, or I heard somebody said maybe the comic ends or something, or
I
I,
don't really
I don't
know
know.
much. I'll look that up because I don't really know.
Look it up right now, Ando,
Yeah.
because I'll tell you this. If the comic is over and done and there's a resolution, I'll feel better about continuing to watch the show. I'm going to watch it anyway because I think it's great, but it is very repetitive. It's very repetitive. And I wish that they would kind of like, now that they basically destroyed the earth, like can they just move it on or something? Do you know what I'm saying? Like I want to see we found out that vital information that there's only like 30 Viltrumites in the entire
Yeah.
galaxy,
I
you
think
know?
50 left, and yeah, a couple of them were killed this season. So,
Yes, so that's huge that they already took out like two or three of them, maybe even four. So that's
well,
huge.
this says January 2003 to February 2018 was publishing dates.
Not okay, I'm happy. That's
25
still
volumes, 144 issues.
oogie doogie. That's a lot. That still leaves us a lot of to go.
Well,
Comics,
but I
they
mean,
churn them out.
we don't know how long each
Yeah, we're probably up to episode like issue 10, Andy.
yeah,
Come
oh
on, let's be
God.
honest here. Right? You know that's true. It's like
Yeah,
they're on
I
episode
know.
24 of
Oh,
3000.
God. Yeah, exactly right.
But look,
3,000.
I'm sure Amazon, like, if they could, they would just continue this show for like 30 years and change the voice. I mean, you know how it is these days. So
Well,
as
and
it's, oh, go
the
ahead.
one good thing with Amazon though, we don't really have any evidence of them holding out series for way too long.
What do you mean?
Like Marvelous Mrs. Maisel or some of these shows that they've had, they haven't been like you need to keep pumping out seasons. They've
Yeah,
actually let
that's right.
creators end shows.
They do. They do.
Like
I
I can't
mean,
think of any examples of something like The
mm,
Walking Dead where AMC just said more, more, more.
I guess I would have to say that most of the stuff that Amazon has continued, I like, so maybe I don't notice it as
Because
much, you
like
know?
Jack
And
Ryan's over, isn't? I mean, they're making some movies, I think,
yeah,
with them, but
they're making a movie and it's supposed to be released in theaters.
oh, really?
Yeah. I
Hmm.
watched every episode of Jack Ryan with John married to Emily Blunt What a
Yes.
Lucky Guy Krasinski.
Yes.
And I have no recollection of anything that occurred on that show. I don't know what countries they were in. I don't know anything. I don't know his back. Does he have kids? Is he married? I
Yeah,
don't
I
know
don't remember much
nothing.
of it either. I remember enjoying it, but
That
and
shit
I
was so generic, but it was fun to watch, but it was so generic.
we've got a little update too. We're being harassed in the chat room by Mr. Heath Solo. So
Oh shit. What the fuck? Are you serious? What did he
on
say?
the
Oh,
YouTube
he
chat.
said Axel is dirty hot. Holy shit. Ando is sexy. Jack Ryan. What does dirty hot mean? Am I dirty? What does that exactly
I don't
mean?
know if that's is that
Am
a
I
backhanded
dirty?
compliment? I don't know.
I guess he wants to get dirty. This is getting into some White Lotus territory. Get away from me, Solo. Speaking of Solo, you are you up to speed with Yellow Jackets?
No, I have not started Yellow Jackets yet this
Like,
season.
oh, this season. Okay. I
Yes.
was like,
Yeah,
I
well, yeah,
think
I
you
did. We
watched
podcasted
I
season
know.
two.
I was
Wait, and
like,
I've been on with Solo on a couple film lists, and I kept saying I didn't even watch season two. I've watched season two. I just forgot that it was. I was thinking this was season two, but yes, I'm up to date before this season. I just haven't started season
okay,
three yet.
okay. Well, I am 4 episodes or five. I'm 4 episodes into season three.
Hmm.
And things are happening. It's better than season two
Well, that's good.
because there seems to be maybe I don't know, I hope that they seem to be leaning a little bit more into the mystical, supernatural stuff
Hmm,
so far. And there's a little bit less dumb B plot lines.
that would be good. Clean that up a
Um,
little bit.
yes, definitely. It's more funny. It's
Oh,
definitely funnier, I
that's
think.
good. That's
I
also
th
good.
I think the stuff the stuff in New Jersey in the real life is a bit funnier, a bit more comedic. I was listening to a podcast where they said excuse me, where they said I kind of take the now stuff as um comedy and the then stuff as a horror show.
More serious.
Like,
Okay.
yes, it like gives you a break from it. And I
Yep.
kind of think that's what they did. I think they toned down the drama. It's like a little bit more about like Misty just feels left out, and it's kind of funny little
Well, and there
situations.
was funny stuff in the previous seasons in the present timeline, but it wasn't
It
always funny.
was
Like the stuff with
too
what's her name's
much.
husband and some of
Yeah.
that. Some
And
of
the
that stuff was funny.
daughter and
Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah, that was. I think we must have talked about it off the air in one of those other ones, but that was one of those. Since I don't have Showtime right now, I've been waiting till I can get it all in 1 month, so I
Yeah.
don't have to subscribe for multiple months. So I'll catch up on it here now that it's almost finished.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's worth watching, Andy.
Yeah. Oh, I
I
was always still gonna definitely watch it. It just well, and plus with Severance and rewatching and everything else, I'm like,
yeah.
I'll wait.
Well, let's
One
put it
theory at a
this
time.
way. Yeah, this is how I like, oh gosh, no time for that. We got to have 20. This is how I feel about it. They have, so far to me, they have righted a sinking ship, but they still are leaking,
Well, I was gonna say
right?
there's still a couple episodes left this season. There's still time for the.
Well, in the
You
direction
think they're
it's
gonna land it this
going,
time?
yeah, I think they're going in the right direction. And I think that, how many seasons this show is supposed to last, I'm not sure. I know there's some guest stars and such that have not yet appeared in the show that I'm interested in seeing.
I want to say
So,
originally they said 4 or 5 seasons was what they were aiming for,
okay,
but it's
well,
been a while since I've checked my notes. I don't remember, but
there aren't that many girls left, and
okay.
and this is the interesting thing too. They're pretty like forthright about sitting them all together a lot of times this season, so you can actually count. There
Oh,
are this many girls
it's
left.
not quite so vague.
Haphazard, right? As it was in the past, especially season two. They were messing with that.
Yeah.
And they do a kind of there's a couple Nikki and Paolo's here where
Of course.
they weren't really in the show, and now all of a
Yeah.
sudden there's this girl Aquila who I think was in the show maybe a little
Yeah,
bit,
I think
but
so. That name sounds, and I think we had talked about that probably happening at some point.
yeah, that's okay though. I didn't mind it, but I'm gonna keep watching it. Perry's out, so I'm just gonna watch it by myself.
Yeah, that Claire never even started. I told her that what the premise was of like the first episode. She's like, I'm out. That's
Yeah,
she's not a horror fan though either.
yeah. I guess you know
Um,
what? We didn't end up talking much spoilers at all, Ando. That's good. I guess we
no,
sometimes I
that's
avoid it.
yeah. Um,
What are you looking
Solo
at?
says Axel is leaking on the pod. I'm not sure what that means either, but
I'm leaking.
yes.
Axel is leaking on the pod. That is weird. Solo
And he
said
also
that.
says he's jumping in the
LOL.
pool. So
That was me. Solo says Yellow Jackets gets interesting with cool casting that you don't think. Okay. Solo's kind of writing in kids kind of text speak here. You know, it's kind of interesting. I feel
yeah.
like he's going to tell me I'm mad sus or is mad sus a thing that kid? I added the mad part. I don't think
Yeah.
kids say that.
I don't think Matt either. And I think Sus might
No.
actually be on the way out too. So
Good.
well, I Luke said
Good.
that a couple weeks ago, and if it's filtered down to the 8-year-olds, that
Yeah.
usually means it's past its due date.
That's like the alpaca hair where you fucking get a perm in the front of your head. Lachlan told me, he was like, ew, only high schoolers do that. They're dumb. And I'm like, okay. Um, I'm glad because that look is not
No,
good,
it's bad.
folks. Not good, not good.
Really bad.
Like, you know what? You know what's wrong with kids today, Andy? No one has a fucking mohawk. Like, these kids are not badass. Like, be a little different. You know what I'm saying? Get a
Well, that's
mohawk.
still a young kid's thing too, because Luke has been begging us for a mohawk for a
Okay.
very long
Do it.
time.
Do it, man. That's awesome. I mean,
I
I
mean,
basically have one. I don't know if you can tell, but I shaved the sides of my
oh
head.
yeah, I
I
see
just
that
let the
now.
top grow. So technically speaking, I kind of do have a mohawk, but
Well, in last summer, was it last summer, 2 summers ago, Luke decided he wanted to buzz his hair like I do, with get it super tight. He did it one time and he hated it. So I don't know if he would like the mohawk now with the sides shaved and everything. So I'll have to ask him though, maybe this summer.
okay. Interesting. Very interesting. All right, what do you keep on looking at Solo? Solo's distracting you, Anda.
Yes, I'm
But
gonna
you be our
let me
YouTube
put the
guy,
chat
though.
room
You
down.
be the
Yeah,
YouTube guy,
I'll
okay?
just keep an eye on that.
Yeah. Oh. He said, you said Yellow Jackets was a ship that was leaking. And he said, Axel, oh, that's why I'm leaking. Oh, and then he said, Mad Son. Now I'm the YouTube guy. All right, we're moving on. I'm getting
We're
sucked
still
into this
figuring this
world.
YouTube thing out, you
Yeah.
know?
Do we have, oh, okay. White Lotus. Obviously, we're covering it on the podcast. Solo was our guest. We did 2 hours on it. We don't have to go super deep on it, but I am interested. You are up to date, Andy. What are some general thoughts you have? We don't have to talk about giving your brother hand jobs either, because you don't have a brother. So
I
that's
do
all
not.
right.
And you guys
We
thoroughly
covered
covered that
that.
on Wednesday.
Yes. Right. Jenny has three, not enough hands. We already covered that.
Yes. She's gonna be so happy you brought
Yeah.
that up
I
again.
know that I did it on purpose. I
You
feel
know,
bad now, though. I'm sorry, Jenny. I love you. It's only a joke.
she knows she can dish it right back out. We're
I
okay.
know. Oh, I know. I know that.
The,
This is a tough cookie.
White Lotus is a show for me. Like, uh, I really did not like the first season. It was a
Interesting.
show. It was a show where I hated all the characters. I wa All 3 seasons have got a couple things in common for me. I love a lot of the actors in each season, and that's
Yeah.
the reason why I watch this show. Like I love Aubrey Plaza, I love Theo James, I love Connie Nielsen, other people that were in that first season, and obviously Walton Goggins. I love Walton. I'm gonna watch anything he does. Sam Rockwell. I love these. I love all these actors and stuff. But I don't know. The show is. I ended up loving the second season, actually, I should say. I didn't like the first season and didn't watch the second season for a very long time until maybe 2 months ago. Because when you guys said you were going to cover it, I'm like, well, maybe I'll give season two a chance. And I ended up loving season two. So this season, I don't think is as good as season two. So far, I'm liking it better than season one, I think. But I'm not, I don't, kind of like Solo, where he's told me many times, he's like, I just hate all the characters. It's hard for me to watch that. And that's kind of where I am with this show, but I still watch it. So I still like the filmmaking is awesome, the cinematography and the acting and everything is good. I don't know how much I care about the actually what's going on, if that makes sense. But I still like the
Yeah.
show, but I don't love
Um,
it.
you know what, man? I've been thinking about this because when faced with this point of view, and I wanted to try to talk to our friend Mike today, but he wasn't available, but he sends his regards. Not like the Lannisters, though. Sorry. He sends
You know
his
what
good
though? If you piss
regards.
Mike off, he might send his
He
regards like
might.
the Lannisters.
He might send some fucking regards from Detroit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Rock
exactly
City.
right. Yeah.
Coming up on you like Brad Pitt. Remember that movie? Oh God, I love that movie.
Yes.
Anyway, a lot of people are saying that about this show, and I'm trying to figure out what's up, and I have a theory. All right? This is my theory. Before I tell you the theory, I'm gonna turn the video off on my camera.
Uh-oh.
And I'm gonna do something that I've been told you're not supposed to do on YouTube because it could get your video banned.
I understand.
That's
You know,
why I've been
I've
turning my camera off when I do that
yeah,
because
I
it's legal in my state, but it's not legal in every state. So,
believe me, I already kind of knew that's what was going on. Yeah, you weren't fooling
yeah.
me. I know me or Solo
Oh,
haven't been fooled, and Gina and Jenny have not been fooled. I can guarantee.
no one who has ever listened to this podcast before is fooled.
I think you're
Um,
right.
so this is how I feel. I started thinking about Mike White. Mike White's a reality TV guy. He was on Survivor. He was on Amazing Race. He told the entire cast to watch Southern Charm. The early seasons, but mind you, okay?
Okay. I
Not the
don't even know what
current.
Southern Charm is, but I'm just gonna
Okay.
imagine it by the name you're
Okay.
describing what it is.
Well, listen, because this is something that the people on this podcast should know. I'm heavily considering a hard move into Bravo. I might start doing more reality TV podcasting about Bravo because I love these shows and I know about all of these people.
Hmm.
But it's a Bravo show. I've seen, of course, every episode, every iteration. Southern Charm began as a show that mixed ages. They had some older people who were in their 40s, 50s. They had
Okay.
some younger kids, 20s, 30s. It was basically this guy named Thomas Ravenel, whose grandfather, the Ravenel Bridge in Charleston, is named after. He
Okay.
was, I think, a state senator, and I think his grandfather was the governor. And he is just like a Lothario, like an old guy who lives in Charleston who like has sex with young women and parties all the time. And he was bringing up these younger guys, Shep and Craig. Then Austin joined the crew and all, and then it became Paige, which some people might know because of her podcast with Hannah Berner, Giggly Squad, which is like kind of how she is on. She's on a show called Summer House. Okay,
Okay,
long
I've heard of
story
Summer
short.
House.
Okay, which is these shows. I know Solo is not a fan. He's probably saying this in the YouTube right now, but these
The
are
last thing
great.
Solo has said is hand jobs. There hasn't been anything else.
Oh. So anyway, yeah, we didn't even get to that yet. I went down a hole there. Long story short, Mike White is a fan enough of these shows to tell them to watch the early show, and Jason Isaacs is doing an impersonation of Thomas Ravenel. And
Well,
recent,
when I
okay.
Googled the Southern Charm, one of the posters that comes up for it looks a lot like some of the artwork for White Lotus. So you might be onto something here.
Oh, I'm not. He admitted this.
Oh, he has. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I thought you said this was part of your theory. No, yeah, I can
No,
totally see it
no,
from the,
no. This
yeah.
is
Okay.
100% the truth. Like, I'm
Okay.
just about to tell you, last night was the Southern Charm reunion, and Andy Cohen literally asked them, how do you feel about the accents on White Lotus
Yeah. What did they
and
say?
all that kind of stuff? And they were like, amazing, amazing, right? He either asked them on Watch What Happens Live or the I can't remember which one it was, but
One
they
of
were
their
like, the
shows. Yeah.
accents are fantastic, and it is. And they're like, yeah, he's doing Thomas.
Well,
because
if
that's
they're
who he's
doing a
doing.
reality show, I'm sure they just love having a representation of them, no matter how bad it
Oh,
looks, makes
it
them look.
was. Oh, it was Watch What Happens Live because they had Shep, Austin, and Craig on, and they were talking about, yes, that's why So they were like, the accents are amazing. They knew the whole story and all that kind of stuff, right? And they thought that that was kind of funny, right? Um,
God, he
I
even looks
think,
a little bit like Jason Isaacs. You're right.
dude, he is doing him. He's
Uh-huh.
doing like it, the accent, everything. Um, Now he's not he I'm not saying he watched the whole season, but he watched enough.
Yeah.
So that's what I think the divide is. My big theory is if you're into reality shows and you like the gossip, the drama, the chat that they have with each other, the banter, all this kind of stuff, you're going to like this season of White Lotus. And I think White Lotus in general is geared towards that fan. Because for me, this reminds me a lot of watching when the housewives go on a trip. This is a
Yeah.
staple of the housewives
Uh-huh.
show. Every season, they do at least two or three trips. They used to just do one. Now they do every like two or three trips they go on. And that's what this is like. So for me, when nothing happens on the show, I'm like, wait a
And
second, this person got upset. This emotion
you know,
was,
that part
you
that
know?
part doesn't bother me like that
Okay.
because I've seen those complaints about the it's boring and nothing
Yeah.
happens. That part doesn't bother me. I don't like I've always been a defender of episodes where it's just a character
Yes.
episode or where
Yeah.
it's people just talking or whatever and there's not a lot of if the characters are interesting. And these characters the thing is the characters are interesting. And like I say I
Yeah.
love the act. I love Michelle Monaghan. I love that whole I think some of it though is just well, for one thing, part of it is the Mike White of it, where he lives to make people feel uncomfortable. There's no question about that.
Yes.
So
Yep.
that's part of it, but that's not the whole thing. And so I think some of it is some of the story that's there. I thought I already knew that was going to happen, like watching the first half of episode one.
Yeah.
Like the stuff with the brothers. I was like, I mean, I couldn't predict that exact thing was going to happen, but
Yeah.
yes,
Yep.
there's definitely something a little incesty going on here. And the Michelle Monaghan and Leslie Bibb and Carrie Coon, I'm like, of course, one of them is going to be have different political views, and they're going to fight with each other, and the Hollywood star is going to steal a guy from the other. I mean, like I predicted in my head, I'm like all that stuff. I was like, this is probably what's going to happen with these characters, and it's it just the story that is there seems very I don't know, just predictable, maybe not the right word, but not very inventive compared to what the other two seasons had, I guess is.
Mhm.
But I like
I
to say I
could
don't
see
need it to be
that. I could
moving.
see. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't need
I
it to
could
be
see
moving
that.
100 miles an hour. I'm fine with them sitting around and talking because I think that stuff is great. So,
Yeah. They're a little bit more caricatures, a little bit
yeah.
more recognizable caricatures
Hmm.
where the Italian family, the dad, the son, the grandfather in season two, first of all, it was just knockout casting, right?
Yeah.
Like when, come on,
Yeah.
and the
Well, there's a
way
reason
that
F.
they
Murray Abraham has an Oscar. I mean, he's
yes, I mean, come on. And the way that they played it too was interesting. Even though
Mhm.
that was a little predictable that the son was going to fall in love, the dad was going to get entangled,
And
the,
maybe there's still going to be some other because there was some twists even with that storyline near
there
the end,
was,
and
wasn't there?
maybe there will be something here that'll help redeem this for me a little bit more. So
I
I'm still
think
going to
there
watch
will
it,
be, my friend.
but it's
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know, something just and it may all pull together in the end, but then some of it too is just the this is another show where I can't sit and binge the thing. I mean, I did watch the last two or three episodes in one weekend, but I can't sit there and watch 5 episodes of this
Oh
because it's
no.
just not
Yeah,
it's
I
that part of
agree.
it's too much.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree. This is that's a perfect week to week show.
Yeah. Solo does want us to ask about the backlash for Duke.
All right. Well,
I thought it was hilarious.
as a representative of Duke,
I'm sure Perry has
because
something to say about it.
oh,
Does
she
she watch White
does.
Lotus? Yeah,
She
what does she
does.
think?
She does. She's very upset. She's boycotting the show. She and what's the kid's name? Cooper Flag? Is that his name?
Cooper Flag,
Something
yeah, the best basketball
Cooper.
player, college basketball
Yeah.
player in the country right now. Yeah.
Cooper, who, by the way, maybe my favorite Duke boy ever. Maybe my favorite Duker. You know why? Because the guy actually tries really fucking hard. Like he's just a hard working
Yeah.
player. And that is, I love that. I didn't grow up a Duke fan. I'm from New York. I mean, well, New York, New Jersey, tri-state area. We have professional sports. We don't watch children play. Um, just
Well, guess
kidding.
what? College athletes are professionals
I
now
know. I'm
too.
just, and that's just my
Yeah,
East Coast liberal elite bias
I
speaking.
know. I just
Um,
had to laugh.
just, but seriously, yeah, that is true though. I didn't really care too much, but I remember Leitner and all that. No, Perry thought it was funny. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Duke's really upset. I'm sure they're, I mean, listen, you're telling me the lacrosse team wasn't giving each other hand jobs? Get the fuck out of town. All right. That's
I
probably where the
forgot about
story
the
came
lacrosse
from.
thing, of course. Oh
Yeah, that
God,
was
yeah.
awful. That happened,
Uh-huh.
like, that was just before we moved there. So it was like still kind of like that's the house, or they
Uh-huh.
tore it down. That's a terrible
Oof.
story
Yeah, it
all
is.
around. But anyway, uh to respond to that, Heath, I think that the marketing department at Duke was was kind of crafty. It was just a fun way of saying, "Hey, we don't condone it or whatever." But by the
Yeah.
way, we're in the final. We're going to be in the final four.
Yeah, we're probably going to win the national title. So,
Yeah. By the way, watch the basketball.
yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right.
And UNC lost too.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So yeah, Perry's really into that because I used to work. I actually worked in Chapel Hill.
Mm,
So,
that's
and
right.
that's where the People's Channel was in Chapel Hill.
Mm-hmm.
So I was on UNC campus and all the time. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I know that like the back of my hand, those little fucking roads and everything. And um, it was just down the hill that the People's Channel was, next to the Whole Foods. I don't know where it is now. It's moved, I think. I think it's somewhere near there still. I don't know if the Whole
I've
Foods is
I've
still
never
there.
been to North Carolina, so that's one area
Dude,
of the country I've not been to.
Durham, Chapel Hill, like people say Raleigh, Durham, but it's really, I think for a large part of Durham, it's Durham, Chapel Hill. Like we were on the, like near closer to Chapel Hill, like
Mm-hmm.
right on the border. So that was kind of our life. Like I hardly ever went to Raleigh.
Yeah.
Raleigh is kind of a clusterfuck. I did not like Raleigh. I don't like, I never wanted to go there. I only
Uh-huh.
went there to go to Toys R Us to get Lego. That was like
Well,
literally the only time I ever wanted to go to anywhere near Raleigh. And like as soon as you got close to Raleigh, there was like a lot of cars that didn't have mufflers and shit, like on purpose.
yep.
You know what I mean? Like,
I know
yeah,
exactly what you
not
mean.
my style.
Yeah.
Um, I was like, I'm from Jersey. Shut that fuck you. Um, that figure you see is waving hello. Uh,
Yeah. You're number
which I,
one, buddy.
yeah, which I've stopped. I no longer give the finger to Teslas. I've made that declaration. Nor
That's
the thumbs down. Nothing. I'm Tesla neutral now. I'm not reacting.
I'm proud of you, Axel, because
I'm
you're
not
growing.
reacting. Yeah, I'm moving forward with my life with happiness and joy
Yes,
in my
yes.
own space. And what else we got to talk about, buddy?
What else do we have going on here? I know you don't watch this show, but I'm caught up on the new season of Daredevil on Disney Plus. I'm greatly enjoying that show. So
I watched the I watched a portion of the first episode.
the
Um,
the first like episode or two are a little clunky because it's like you can tell they're trying to transition the show from what it was on Netflix
and
to
they
what,
redid the whole show.
yeah. And
Let's
you can
not forget
definitely
that they
tell,
reshot like this entire show to make it like more
yeah.
adult.
Yeah, and it's
Oh no, I watched the
it's
whole episode. No, 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 I'm wrong. Because now I'm remembering what happens at the end of
yeah.
episode one.
Yeah, it's a big, yeah, don't
Yes,
spoil what
that
happens.
was at the end, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
we won't. We didn't end. I wish I could go back in time and say we're not going to. We oftentimes we avoid spoilers, don't we, Andy? We say we're going to say spoilers, and then we kind of like don't want to.
Usually back off, yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to. We never want to ruin anyone's experience. But okay, I watched the first episode. I'm good. I
And
don't. Go ahead.
it's what I was gonna say is it's like I didn't I think we talked about this briefly one other time. I hadn't watched the Netflix Daredevil for a long time. Just watched it this basically while we were watching Severance, I was watching and caught up on it. And just because I we've talked Marvel many times. You know, I'm a Marvel guy, so I wanted to watch this when a new show when it came out. And the first couple episodes are kind of clunky, and it's not really the show is turning into something else, which I think the last two episodes I've actually really loved. There's one episode with basically a bank robbery going on, and another episode with a serial killer and things like this, which are much
Oh,
more adult than what Marvel
okay.
would normally have.
Is it serialized though? Because the way you're talking, like,
Kind of. It's
okay.
kind of there's ongoing storylines, but then there's also like the last two episodes, I think you could watch without watching the other ones and still understand everything that's going on.
Hey, you want to know something, Andy? I am such a fan of serialized television, as we all are. That's the basis of this fucking podcast network is
Yeah.
serialized TV shows.
Yes.
But I think that's pretty smart. I honestly, when I think about it, we were just talking about the quagmire of comic books and of comic
Hmm.
book adaptation. And a good way to get around it is to just go back to like the detective comics route
Well,
and
and
have like a continuing story, but like it's kind
like
of procedural.
I'll give you an example. This is a very, very, very slight spoiler. So in the beginning of two episodes ago, Matt Murdock walks into a bank to get a loan to try and prop up their law firm is struggling, so they're trying to get an operating loan basically. And while he's there, while he's walking out, bank robbers are walking in. And so he tries to try and help find people, try and defuse the bank robber without going into Daredevil mode because people already have seen him there and everything else. So the episode is
Ah,
basically about him. The continuing storyline part was that he was trying to go in to get a loan for his thing, where the
right.
bulk of the episode is that
But he
the bank
also
robbery happening.
learned, but I guarantee by the end, the experience in the bank taught him something that he could bring to the other
Yes.
continuing storylines as well,
Yes.
right? Like it
Yes.
taught him to be more patient, or it taught
Yep.
him I have to look deeper, or understand, or
Yeah.
I can't see, so I have to see.
Yeah.
Something. You like that
So
solo?
it's kind of yeah, that's it's like you're coming right out of the TV. It's perfect or the phone.
I'm three-dimensional.
So yeah, I've actually been enjoying it's and like I say it's not a show that I love, but
Yeah,
it's changing into something different, which I think is a cool way to go with that if they
that makes me
continue
want to
going down
watch
that
it
road.
more.
Yeah, it's definitely they're trying something different than they have with
I
the other
like
Marvel
that.
TV things. So
I like that. I like that very much.
yeah.
I'm actually pretty excited about that because I was growing up a huge comic book nerd, man. I can't tell you the number of times I think in my life I looked this place up. It was, if anyone's listening that's from New Jersey, hit me up with an email about this or something. It was the comic book store in the Livingston Mall. And it was kind of like at the end near the door, and it was kind of dark, and it wasn't that big, and you like went up a little lift, and they had all the comics on the back wall, and I could tell you exactly where the Batman comics were. They were on
Yep.
what's my left hand side, to a little bit towards the top, kind of alphabetical, but he kind of had a Batman because at that time, Batman, when I was really into comics, Batman was huge. This was like a little bit before Tim Burton's Batman, and
Hmm.
but Batman was still getting big, right?
Yep.
I cannot remember the name. I think it was Heroes and Villains or something. It was like some generic name
Sounds
like
like a
that,
comic book store name, yeah.
but I love, and the guy was so cool. Like he did not make you feel bad
Oh,
about
not
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 knowing
doing the
everything.
gatekeeping thing and not doing
Yes.
the you don't deserve Batman because you don't understand what
Yeah.
Riddler did 78 episodes ago or yeah.
So weird. But there's people like that. There were always, like, for instance, that was what Kim's was of video stores in New York. They try to make you
Hmm.
feel like they were so cool. Whereas the best video store ever, World of Video, we talked to everyone like, hey, you want to watch a fucking Michael Bay movie? Here it is. But guess what, motherfucker? You know who this was shot by? Interesting, right? Okay, note that while you watch it. We don't have to turn a blind eye or our nose up to shit.
Yes.
Anyway, don't you love how I go down these roads here?
Yes, I love
You
it.
almost activated me, but
Well, I
not
was
yet.
gonna
I'm
say we're getting
tired.
close to Fired Up Friday.
No, no, no. I'm chill today. It's very nice and beautiful out, so I'm kind of peaceful looking out the window. Maybe I'm just really high.
So what
Anyway,
when you and Solo talked here a
yeah.
week or so ago, and they had just released the tiny little clip, like the 10 seconds. Now that the full trailer is out, what do you think about the new PTA, the trailer?
Oh boy, what do I think?
I
Well,
know
first
you
of
would, I know
all,
you'll talk about PTA. I just watched the trailer this morning. I was impressed. I
okay.
think it looks weird as hell, which I love. So,
Well, um, I was listening to what
one battle
the
after another is the
yeah,
title.
one battle after another. I was listening to which I like the word battle,
Yeah.
right? It's not one war after another, one fight after another. It's
Yeah.
one battle
I,
after. It's a
I love
battle.
the title. It's a cool title.
That's why he's the fucking best, right? Like he probably thought about that for like 5 years.
hmm
Okay.
I'm
Um,
sure he workshopped. Oh, he was in the SNL writers' room. I mean, there's a reason
oh
you're there.
I love him so much. Um, a PTA, I want to have your children. I want you to get me pregnant like Tracy Morgan. Like Aaron's gonna get Ariel. I shouldn't say that line on the podcast.
Better
Ando's
cut
covering
that.
his head.
Can we edit a live
No, we
broadcast?
can't. It's too late. See? Um, what
No
the hell were
comment.
we talking about?
PTA. One battle
uh,
after another.
it looks amazing, man. Come on. I mean, it looks fantastic. Now, I was listening to The Town, Matt
hmm
Bellany. I love that podcast. That guy's
Yeah.
cool because I like
Yep.
the way he mixes the business stuff with the kind of gossipy, like news stuff and new stuff happening. But also, he's such an old school journalist to me. I love he has people on and they'll be like, "We made a lot of money, Matt." And he'll be like, "Yeah, right. No, you didn't. What money did you make?" Like,
Yeah.
he'll just kind of laugh at them. And I always respected that because when I was a journalist, I never had the balls to do that. I'm kind of like, I like to please, I like everyone to
Yeah.
be happy. But I heard there was a test screening. And on the podcast, he said, I don't want to, and they caught him on this too. He said something like, I don't want to stain the movie for you or something. And then the producer, I can't remember the producer's name. It's not Cousin Kyle, it's the other guy. Maybe it
Oh,
is.
yeah.
He said he was like, but I like him. He's really good. He's the guy who does football too. I can't, is it Danny or something? Or is it no? I don't remember. I'm
I
sorry.
can't remember either.
But
Yeah.
anyway, he was like, well, if you said stained, that is a negative connotation.
Uh-huh.
He was
For
like, you
sure.
didn't say change my opinion. You didn't say get me too excited. You said
Yeah.
stay. So that makes me a little nervous, but that actually makes me kind of happy too, because I think this movie's a little bit bonkers. I think it might be, or you know what it kind of gave me a feeling of? A little bit Coen Brothers.
Yeah. It definitely has more of the goofy PTA feeling than it does There Will Be
Yeah,
Blood PTA.
yes. But I don't know because when you get Leonardo involved, he has the capacity to do both at the same time.
Yeah, for sure.
And the refrain
Well,
of
and Benicio del Toro, he's the same way. He can be that way too.
the whole cast is fucking
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, this thing is, but the one thing I want to know is why did it cost like over $100 million? It's his most expensive movie.
Yeah. It's like more than almost all of his other ones put together.
Why? I don't, is it just explosions? Is it practical effects that he did
Is
or
it I was not really clear. Is it set in the past? It must be. Is it like a period piece,
great point.
expenses period stuff, maybe?
Well, it's the 80s.
80s.
Yes, that
So
is the past.
you
But you know
wouldn't
what? I mean, you don't need to change
you
some
wouldn't think that would,
cars, you know?
yeah,
It's not that
you wouldn't think you'd
expensive.
need to spend $100 million to do that.
You can shoot in a lot of towns in America that still look like the 80s, and they're right there in fucking California. You don't need
Yeah.
to, it's not like it's the 1800s or they're
And
not like,
it's also weird that they're doing test screenings. I don't think PTA normally has to. Granted, with the budget, Warner Brothers is probably making him do test screenings. I don't know. You think he would have
no,
final cut though?
I don't know. I have no idea
Hmm.
what I would assume he has Final Cut, but I think that, a lot of directors like test screenings,
Yeah, I have heard that
you know,
before.
because you have to think about it from a, um,
That's part of why I think it's probably more comedy because I've listened to enough directors commentary like Judd Apatow and some of those guys, and they'll say they like to test because then they can sit with an audience and see if the jokes work right or the timing is quite right or the
Yeah,
editing and everything. So maybe that's what it is.
I think it shows confidence in your work as well.
Oh
Like
yeah.
you're making a film. You make a film because you have to make it, right? Like this guy makes films because that's what he is. He makes films. He has to make the film. But then sometimes you do want to make sure that your point gets across to the audience.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
it's good to ask the audience. That's why I think a lot of films are, I think most films are tested. And
Hmm.
they're not, it's not just because it was a test screening that he heard about, doesn't mean it was a public test screening, right?
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
it
that's
was
true.
like, this could be akin to like when frickin' George Lucas showed Scorsese and Spielberg Star Wars or something. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And
you're right.
who else was in that room? It was, but wait,
De
it was
Palma and
also De Palma,
Spielberg
right?
and yep.
There was one other person I thought I couldn't remember, but yeah, De Palma.
Coppola.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah,
Imagine that. Imagine
what a
being in that
freaking
room.
room. Ugh, that's insane to think of all that in one
That's
room at the same
awesome,
time.
dude. Yeah.
Ugh,
I'm
crazy.
super excited. PTA can do no wrong in my book.
Yeah,
Hey,
I am too.
some of I wasn't a huge fan of the Joaquin Phoenix
Inherent Vice.
Inherent Vice film.
Yep.
I enjoyed it. I appreciated it. Maybe even I wasn't high enough when I watched it, which sounds crazy, but it's possible. I think that's kind of what my problem was. I should have been tripping because that's actually
Yeah.
not a high movie, that's a
More
tripping movie.
than
People know the difference. If you know, you know. He wasn't just high. He was his reality was really distorted. So, but it was still an awesome film. I mean, Licorice Pizza was a lot of fun. It was
Yeah,
exuberant.
it's that might be one of my least cool of his that I shouldn't say least cool. I'm the least cool on that one, I think maybe.
You know,
It's one of my least favorite ones of his.
I think that like having kids and getting older and being married to one of the most awesome people, Maya Rudolph, in the history of the
Yes.
world,
Yes.
and beautiful, that it just makes you be like, hey, let's just make a movie and call it Licorice Pizza and get Tony Soprano's son, or no, Philip Seymour Hoffman's
Philip
son.
Seymour
Yeah,
Hoffman's son,
let's do
yeah.
the Tony. I was going to say, let's do the Tony Soprano thing and get the son of the guy
Well,
who I
and
really
like
love, you know?
when you were saying something before about Jack Ryan and you didn't really remember much of it. I
Yeah,
only thing I can remember about Licorice Pizza is I thought Bradley Cooper was awesome in it, and that's all I can
yeah.
remember about that movie. I remember
It's
liking it,
just,
but
it's, uh, it's really just, it's almost like The Young Master as a comedy. It's if you
yeah.
think about it,
Uh-huh.
because Philip Seymour Hoffman's son's character just wills shit into existence
Yes,
through
you're right.
sheer might and aggressiveness and
Yeah.
ingenuity. And it's really a beautiful movie. But yeah, when you stack it up, I love the way his style has changed because he has become less OCD. He has become less controlling. It makes me wonder, like, this is something that like never happened to Stanley Kubrick. Because if you watch like Magnolia, you see he was getting, and There Will Be Blood, you're getting into the master, you're getting into a type of control over
Hmm.
filmmaking and a type of control over the frame,
Yeah. Well, that's I thought
that
There Will Be Blood. I
is,
remember finishing that movie and I'm like, this guy's gonna make the next 2001 at some point. I mean, I was convinced that was happening after seeing that film, and
yeah,
his career has shifted a little bit since then.
and I like that. And
Yeah.
I think that the film that really for me kind of brings it together is I'm blanking on things now. The last film with My Left Foot, man.
Oh, Phantom Thread.
Phantom, thank Andrew always Andrew have a much better memory than me. Phantom Thread, which I
I
love
got.
that
Remember
movie
how I
so
said before we
much.
started I was plugged into my work all morning?
Yeah,
My DVR
you're
brain
moving.
is
Yeah,
plugged back in now.
I'm in chill. My eyes are barely open, as people on YouTube can see. Solo's like, "Wake up, Foley." Um,
We need to stop. On my other screen here, I got a picture of Leo with the shades on. Maybe you just need the podcast with the shades like Leo has and the stocking cap, and
Maybe
that'd be it.
you know what, man, my eyes really are not open a lot right now. Um, Phantom Thread is I think Phantom Thread, if I were to write a paper about this in college, I would have written a paper about how Phantom Thread is about Paul Thomas Anderson making a movie.
Hmm. I need to watch that again. I only watched it once and it was super late at night and I was tired. I
And
need to
the
really watch that again. I've got the Blu-ray sitting here. I just need to
Think about it
rewatch
this
that.
way, though. But I'm about to blow your mind here, Endo. Are you seated? Yes, you are.
Yes.
And you have a hat on, so it'll
Yes.
keep your brains in there.
Well, I
When
can't
your
afford to
mind
lose
gets
anymore,
blown.
so that's a good thing.
The
Do I cover my ears too?
movie, yes, the movie is the woman. You get it?
Oh, yes.
The movie is the woman.
Got it.
So he wants to be tortured in a sense, be sick and being taken care of by his own art and his own
Mm,
thirst and obsession to make this film. It's a comfort to him. I think it's about his own battle with his obsessive nature of his
mm,
filmmaking. And I
mm-hmm.
think part of that battle for him is to chill the fuck out with the camera and let things happen and
Yeah.
not be so control go back a little bit because he was in Boogie Nights, it was a little more loose. The
Oh, yeah.
camera was so there, but it was a little bit more loose. It's that Magnolia mastered There Will Be Blood. It's so ooh, right? Like
Yeah.
he's
Very
Kubrickian.
controlled. Yeah.
Yeah. And now it's but Stanley Kubrick was never able to do that.
No.
He was never
Huh.
able to chill, even to the end. But maybe he would have,
Yeah.
you know? Maybe like his last film would have been like some more handheld stuff, a little let the people react,
Well, I don't
do a take that's not that great, allow it in the movie. Oh
I
my
don't know though,
no.
because everything you read, even back to
Yeah.
I just recently rewatched The Killing, and even reading about that, and then
Yes.
one of his very first movies, and you read about that, and even back then he was making people do 20 takes of
Yeah.
something or
Yeah.
more. So I can't imagine he would have ever changed from that controlled style, but
I
I can't
know.
imagine him doing it. That's
But that's why I'm glad to see Paul Thomas Anderson
yeah,
do that
yeah.
because to me that I might crave that controlled type of filmmaking, which happens to kind of be my favorite.
Hmm.
But I think he'll be able to make more movies.
Well, I have no doubt he'll go back to that filmmaking style at some point too. I mean, I think he'll go back and forth. He's that good of a filmmaker.
What an interesting dude, you know?
Hmm.
What an
Very,
interesting dude.
very interesting, dude. Did you ever Simmons interviewed him once? Did you ever listen to that? It was like an hour-long podcast with
I'm
him.
sure I did.
It
I'm
was,
sure
I
I
remember
did.
it being really, really good. It probably can't find it anymore because I think it was before he owned his
Yeah.
own stuff. But
He's crazy, man.
yeah,
You have to be crazy to create some of those movies that he created. You can't have that type of vision and
yeah.
that type of control over your art and technology as well, and actors and location and people.
He's one of those guys.
It's
I remember who else we were talking about one other time, and I said usually when I'm watching something, I can at least envision myself trying to make something like that. He is one of those people when I see something as I'm like, I don't know how the hell you even get all
no,
this put together in your head and put it on the screen. I can usually at least contemplate, even though I couldn't do it, I can at least contemplate how it was done. Some of his stuff, man, it's amazing. He's amazing. I can't wait to see this one too as well. So
it's other world. It's as if he is making a film from another world,
yeah,
right? That exists just as much as our world. And there are filmmakers who have the ability to do that. And then there's filmmakers who quite frankly dip in and out of it. And I
hmm,
think oftentimes what captures them and pulls them out of it is the artifice and Hollywood and
yeah,
budgets and money. And I mean, look at someone like Spielberg. I love Steven Spielberg. Come on. I mean, he is obviously one of the greatest directors who have ever lived. But when you see his earlier work and then you watch his later work, you see this is not someone who got let's just, I don't know that he got better as he got older, Mr. Spielberg. You know,
Well,
in certain respects, maybe, but a lot
you
of
know,
those movies
the
are
hard thing with that
doo-doo.
though is like in the first 10 years of his movies, he's got three of the all-time greatest films. So how do you got Close Encounters, you got Jaws, you got Raiders. I mean,
I don't know,
how
you
do
do
you
Boogie Nights and then 15 years later you do There Will Be Blood or what, like I don't think he did become Steven Spielberg. And like look at Ready Player One.
yeah. Well, I think part of the difference there too, though, is I think Spielberg is one of those guys who just he's a workaholic. Not that PTA is not a workaholic, but Spielberg wants to just keep moving and go fast and just keep flying things out the door. Where
Yeah,
PTA is more of a architect almost and has to build everything meticulously. Where Spielberg's okay. I mean, how many times has Spielberg released two movies in the same year? He's like the Stephen King of movies, where he just
that's a
pumps them
good point.
out
That's a
one
good
after
point,
another. It's a
Andy. Yeah,
I,
yeah, they're different, but I also feel like Spielberg has just,
Well, I mean, his peak was in the late 70s, early 80s. There's no doubt
yeah,
about that. But
it's too much artifice. I think it's hard for him to complete a film. It's like you get to a certain point where every film has to have this huge crew. You have to do things this way. It's a Spielberg production, and I think it just starts to take. Man, now maybe in the Fablemans that was pulled back.
and you know what? He has done a couple of those though. Because what's the one with the Fablemans and then the Tom Hanks, Meryl Streep in the newspaper? That what was that one? I really like that. The Post, wasn't that him?
Oh, that wasn't Steven Spielberg, was it?
I'm pretty sure it was.
Really? Let me see. That was okay.
But I mean, that's more. I really like that one. But
The
so he has done
Post
some stuff that's
2017 film. Let's see. That uh was in fact directed by Steven Spielberg. You're right.
right in between two movies that are not so
Yeah.
good, the BFG and Ready Player One.
Yeah, he does. The Post was good.
And Bridge of Spies, that's a, I mean,
That
that's
was
10 years old
good.
now too. So, but they're
It's
not, I mean,
still,
they're
it's,
not the level of I mean, they're nothing's
I
going to
don't
be
know
that,
how
I
to
don't think.
describe it, Andy. There's still a certain gloss
Oh yeah.
that
There's
is
like a sheen.
over, yeah,
Yeah.
his stuff that is like
Yeah.
sometimes prevents me from getting into it, whereas I think at earlier points in his career, it attracted me.
Is the maybe what you're thinking of is it doesn't have that indie feel. He hasn't had that indie feel in a like not Indiana Jones, like independent type of feel. Like
Yeah,
Jaws has some of that. Even Raiders has that a little
I
bit.
guess it's I not maybe not almost indie, but auteur, like as
Yeah.
though
Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
he is like I do like you talk about test screenings. I feel like Spielberg does a ton.
Oh,
You
I
know
bet
what
he
I
does
mean?
too.
Like,
Yep.
and with public, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I just feel like, and I just he's a different kind of filmmaker. But I don't know.
Well, he's more
I
populist. I mean, he's definitely more populist and
That's
more
true.
just
He's done a lot
more
because now that you mention
mainstream.
it, yeah, I'm looking back at the old IMD to the B, and it's a lot of films coming. You don't even realize, and he's an old fuck too. So
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean,
that's
yeah,
a
he's been
lot.
directing films for 50 years, so
I
it's
can
kind of like
barely wake
Scorsese.
up.
Some of his stuff in there is not doesn't isn't that he's got a lot of great things, but some of his stuff is not as great as well too. So it's but they're very different too. So
All right, Ando, we're here. This is almost becoming like a film list. Which, by the way, I talked to Solo today,
yes, I
and
promised Solo when I told him we were going to talk that I'm going to bug you because you need to. We have a specific spot reserved for you.
well, guess what? This is what I'm going to say. We're doing it on Monday.
Perfect.
Monday, live right here, same bat time, same bat channel on the YouTubes. You can listen to us talk about five awesome films, including a film I made 20 something years ago. Jesus Christ, I'm old. Called Smokers, which I'll have very little to say about. I'll probably talk way too much about it. But we're gonna do we say the other movies we're gonna talk about, or is that
We
kept
can wait on.
secret?
I think we should wait
Okay,
on those.
okay.
I'm not sure.
I think Solo he likes it better when we wait. We'll probably check the YouTube. Did he tell us to wait? Did he already
He
type in?
hasn't
Don't
commented in a
say it.
while,
He
so
hasn't commented since the Jason Isaacs Duke comment.
he must have shut it off.
Little
Yeah.
upset. Little upset. We do have. Oh yeah, we only have four people watching instead of five, so Solo left. Um, Uh, anyway, we're going to do that on Monday. It's going to be very fun. And what were we talking about there? Oh, Steven Spielberg. Let's do it. Ready?
Yes.
Steven Spielberg's last something or other films. 2022, The Fablemans. 2021, West Side Story. 2018, Ready Player One. 17, The Post. 16, BFG. 15, Bridge of Spies. 2012, Lincoln. 2011, War Horse. 2011, The Adventures of Tintin. 2008, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. 2005, Munich. 2005, War of the Worlds. 2004, The Terminal. 2002, Catch Me If You Can and Minority Report.
That's
2001, AI.
Oh, it was
1998,
right there. You didn't say the common AI voice. Come on.
AI.
There you go.
Common, are you there? He's in the silo. Saving Private Ryan, 1998. So interesting. Okay. That just gives us, to me, what movies of these do I really like? Oh, come on. Catch Me If You Can, Saving Private Ryan. I really like The Terminal. I wish you'd make more movies like The Terminal. War of the Worlds, awesome. Shot in a
Mhm.
lot in Bayonne. Munich was fucking. Let me tell you something. If people, what's going on today in the world, and if you watch Munich, it tells you all you need to know. That is a fucking amazing film. That to me is the last great film that he made. I think the other film, and that was 2005, Munich. Tintin, I loved. Warhorse was very fun. Lincoln was good, a great performance, a little weird.
Boy, I did not
Bridges,
like I did not like Warhorse at all. I thought that was
really, with Benedict Cumberbatch
oh,
finding his horsey.
I thought it was way too corny. I just didn't
It was way corny, dude. That's why I
did
liked
not
it. I got a
yeah.
little tear. I watched it on an afternoon. I remember watching this movie on an afternoon. And you want to know the other thing? If you look at the date, it's 2011. I think Perry was pregnant with Lachlan at the time.
Oh, you had the pregnant brain going on.
Yeah. I
The
was
only
like,
thing I could
oh
think of with
God,
that
it's a
is
horse.
like that same year when that was out, there was some SNL sketch with Andy Samberg, and they were doing the Warhorse, and it's just Andy Samberg going around like War Horse, where's my War Horse? And I just can't get that out of my head, so I can't ever think of that movie without Andy Samberg from this
Oh
point. So
man, that was awesome. Well, you know what? Still good film. I loved The Adventures of Tintin because he did that with Peter Jackson. I'm kind of pissed they haven't done another one, but
I'm
it was very
shocked that they have
expensive.
not.
It was
Yeah,
really expensive and it didn't make $1 billion.
you
Ready
think that
Player
that one
One
would
was
go?
awful. Ready Player One might be the worst film that Steven Spielberg has made, in my opinion.
Oh, I don't know
It
about
very
that.
well may be and it's a rare time when he completely misunderstood what the movie was about. Like he did not have he I do not think that he read that book. I think he read some script. Someone told him about it, and he went in a complete. Because if you read the sequel to Ready Player One, you will see that the author was super not happy with the movie
Oh,
and
really? I
spent.
never read the
Oh
second
yeah,
book.
the second book basically is about correcting the mistakes of the first book and the movie and making like the author making a direct statement. This
Huh.
is not good. Like this is
I'll have to
about
read that. That sounds
this thing,
interesting.
yeah. Because the whole movie's about corporate greed and an America that's like
Yeah.
ultra capitalist where we all live in stacked trailers. It's not about Optimus Prime being on the screen with a
References.
Gundam. It's like, yeah, it's really stupid.
I didn't hate it, but I didn't read the book. I didn't really so I thought it was fine. I didn't hate it I still think it's better than 1941, which I think is terrible, but that's a
Oh,
long
I
time
will.
ago.
I'm going to disagree with you right there, baby. No way.
Okay.
1941 is worth just some of the crazy performances in that movie.
Yes.
It's so stupid and funny and weird.
I like that
but
it's weird and I like the performances, but I didn't laugh. That was my biggest problem. Like, I can't
it's
even
just
laugh at
weird,
this.
man.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I
And
I
then,
still think, oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
oh no, I was just saying, and then when you see what else he did with World War II, you're like, really?
Yeah. That's I still think that I think Bridge of Spies is an awesome film with Tom Hanks and what's his name. I think that's a really underrated film, honestly.
I
And
do think
I
that's a
think The
good
Post
film.
is as well. I think they're both really really good. And I actually really like Lincoln, but I can get why some people don't because it's kind of like watching a A&E biography or something.
But you know what, Ando? If you told me someone else directed The Post or what was the other one? The other
Bridge of
that's
Spies.
it, The Bridge of Spies. I'd be
Yeah.
like, okay, just like I forgot that Steven Spielberg directed that because it's not great. It's a good film. I liked it. It had some good performances in it, but it in no way. Okay, compare that film to another film that recently dealt with the newspapers that won the Academy Award about which was what
Spotlight.
Spotlight. Compare those two films. That's like a teenager movie and an adult movie. That's kind of how I feel. Sometimes Spielberg is a little too like dumb it down so everyone
Yeah.
can
Oh yeah,
get
like I
it.
said, populist for sure. He's a populist
Populist.
filmmaker. There's no question about
Yes,
it.
I guess that would be a word you could use to describe that. Whereas I feel like he doesn't, Munich, he went for it. That Munich is a film for adults and it has
Yeah,
adult,
I would definitely love to see him do more things
and I
because
think
usually
kids
when
all
he's
across
go
the country should be watching Munich in their classrooms, right? If you're interested in the Palestinian struggle and what's happening right now in the world, go watch Munich and then come back to me afterwards and be like, "Holy shit,
well and
Spielberg made this?"
really if you look at his things that have been aimed at adults, there isn't that many of them. Munich, Saving Private Ryan, Schindler's List, Color Purple, those are all damn good films.
Dude, Color Purple is a great film, and I it's kind of sad they made it into this musical and then they made another movie out of it, and it's like, but man, Whoopi Goldberg in that Color Purple is some deep shit. Yeah, that was
Hmm.
an adult film. That's what I mean about Spielberg is I think the sheen sometimes is a little kiddie, a little
Yeah.
too pop, little McDonald'sy, you know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Oh, for sure. It's
And so it kind of like I want him to knock it out again a couple more times. You know what I'm saying? Before he,
well, he
but all
supposedly
time
is
great.
making a big UFO film right now, I think. The last I had heard.
Yeah, and from what I understand, it is now I hope it's not a remake, okay? But there was a film, I heard it's really inspired. Okay, I'm going to get the name of this film because I know you saw it, Andy. Do you remember this film when God, I can't remember the name of it. I wish I had saved the article. But there is a young guy and he is at a radio station and there's a dance at the school. It's like a really low budget movie, but it got really great.
That sounds
Um,
familiar.
yes, I know you've seen this. Okay, gosh, man, maybe we should try. Oh God, we're gonna do the thing where we Google live on the podcast. People love it. UFO movie. Are you looking it up?
Uh,
Radio station.
I will in a second. I was looking at the untitled Steven Spielberg film, which also stars the aforementioned
The
Emily Blunt.
Vast of Night. Thank you.
The
Thank
Vast of
you.
Night.
All I had to put in was UFO movie radio station. Okay, it's a 2019 science fiction mystery film about a switchboard operator and a radio
Oh,
DJ in 1950s New Mexico. It's available on Amazon Prime.
I have not watched this. I'm gonna watch it
Yes.
tonight.
Okay. This movie is fucking great. I love this movie. Now, what else has this guy done? The film was
Andrew.
acquired. He has since made The Rivals of Amziah King, a revenge thriller set in the honeybee industry and star. Oh, that hasn't come out yet.
Yeah, premiered at South by Southwest. So yeah, that
That's
has not
Matthew
been released yet.
McConaughey's return to acting. Holy
Oh,
shit, this guy hasn't made a movie since that? That's almost 10 years. Well, six, wow. Well, actually, he started making The Vast of Night in 2016. Okay, folks, this entire podcast was worth all your time just for me to remember that you should all see The Vast of Night. It is a great, great film. I loved it. And that's what I hear that this Spielberg movie is kind of like.
Oh,
So go out and watch this movie, Andy. Don't
I
read
will.
anything more about it. Don't spoil.
I'm not going to. I'm
Okay.
looking at the this other one that's coming out with McConaughey, also starring Kurt Russell. I'm 100% seeing this film about the beekeeper thing.
All right. McConaughey's back in town. All right, Ando. You want to wrap it up, buddy?
You know what? I want to ask you one other thing. This will be
Oh,
quick. Have
hit
you
me.
seen any of the? They've released a couple of short, very short clips about from Alien Earth. Have you seen them yet?
Seen a couple of them. Not looking at anything else. I don't want to look at anything else. When the trailer comes up, I'll post it and be like, "Ooh, I looked at
Yeah,
10 seconds of this."
that's what I'm gonna do too. I'm very impressed with the
But
stuff I've seen so far.
oh yeah. They're not fucking around with this show. This
I
is
don't.
not this is no. They're not fucking around. He's going
I
deep. This is going to make us all very happy and we should probably end up covering it on the DVR podcast
I think
network.
we should, unless we start hearing some bad news about it, I think we should
Yeah.
consider it.
Yes. All right.
I actually just started when PlayStation had one of their sales that they always do. I got the Alien Isolation game. Have you ever played that?
Yes, I have.
I've only played maybe half an hour of it, but holy shit, is that awesome!
Yeah, it scared the shit out of me.
I'm in an alien mood right now. So I
I
like I
love
said, it's
Alien.
just seen those couple little clips. I'm like, God damn, I wonder if you've seen those yet.
I am secretly a sucker for any and all Alien slash Predator movies. I even like those shitty ones when they crash in like Ohio or something. I don't remember. I
That was
love all of
AVP
that
Requiem,
shit.
I think.
Yeah,
Yes,
I love it all. I
I
love it.
do
I
too.
on my shelf when you were here, you saw it. I had like Alien vs. Predator
Yeah,
novels.
the
I had all
novelization. I remember
all of
pulling it
that.
out, and I'm like, I'm impressed.
When I was a kid, I read it.
Yes.
I would read the spin-offs. They did a lot of spin-offs actually. There's a lot of
Uh,
Alien and Predator books.
yeah, and comics and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah,
So I love, and I'm super excited about it. I think it's going to be great, man. I think
I
it's
do
going to be
too.
great.
So very excited. Yeah, I was gonna. I just popped into my head because I'm like, oh, I wonder. Like one of the little videos. I don't think it's even part of the show. It's like somebody. It's like a cat video where they attach the. They say that they attach the camera to the cat, and the cat is running around the ship. It's like a minute and a half clip. Have you seen that? I'll have to
No, I
post it
haven't
on
seen that.
Facebook. It looks. I don't think it's part of the show. I think it's just a marketing thing. But I'm like, I like this kind of marketing. It looks cool.
Well, that's what I think Alien leaves itself open to lost like weird little videos and shit because
Mm.
you have like the corporation, you talk,
Yeah,
right? You have all the ship stuff, you have the alien stuff, you have like we discovered this data disk with something on it, right?
yeah,
Like there's all something this crash. You always can get little cool images, and then that's also part of the DNA is the distorted like 1980s retro futuristic
yeah.
kind of images and stuff. And
Hmm.
like the weird writing and all that
Yeah.
kind of, I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it's
I'm
great, man.
excited.
I even like I think the Damon Lindelof one was cool. I like that whole like,
I really
you
really
know,
really loved Prometheus. So
yeah.
I have no shame
It
about
brought it
saying
full
it.
circle because,
Yeah.
right, like they were the ones who created us.
Hmm.
And then long after we found their ship, and then something we
And
created something else, which,
it's got
you
the
know,
weirdness and it's got
yeah,
the scary and the yeah, oh yeah.
yeah. Michael
Oh yeah.
Fassbender, the creator of the Xenomorph.
And Sir Idris Ilba also was a nice role in that film. He's
Sir
awesome in
Idris
that.
Elba.
He is
Yeah.
awesome in that movie too.
Oh man. All right. Well, Andy,
All
it's
right.
always a pleasure to talk to
Yeah.
you, buddy. You're the best.
Yeah.
Um,
This
thanks
was
everyone for listening.
this was a
Thanks
fun
anyone.
little one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely fun. Thanks anyone who's on the YouTube. We appreciate you. Subscribe, like, do all that kind of stuff. Find us at dvrpodcast.com. Go to patreon.com/dvr and become an awesome patron like James and so many others. We are done covering Severance. We didn't talk about Severance, though I have it in the title. I thought we might, but we didn't. I'll
Oh, you know
change the
what? I've
title
got
maybe.
one fun story I
Oh,
can tell about Severance. It's not about the show itself.
okay.
And I was going to talk about it on the podcast, and we got so wrapped up, and I was so excited about everything else, I completely forgot. So when the premiere comes on at 8 o'clock on Thursday nights here. 7:45, my internet went out, and it didn't come back on until the morning we recorded on Monday. So the first two times I watched it, this little iPad I have here that I'm monitoring the chat, I watched it on the damn iPad
Oh,
because I
wow.
couldn't with my cellular data because I was so it's like I'm not waiting. I'm not waiting for my internet. My internet was out all
Yeah.
weekend.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's still, and Friday was not a fun day at all. And I'm like, I don't even want to do this. Within 5 minutes, I was completely sucked in. I didn't even realize I was watching it on my iPad anymore. I did finally watch
Oh,
it a
that's
little bit on
awesome.
Monday morning on the big screen when the
Can you
internet came
cast
back. But
it? Can you cast to your TV from there without Wi-Fi?
no, you have to have Wi-Fi.
I have to have Wi-Fi.
So like my Wi-Fi, I have to be getting it on my iPad for my Wi-Fi to cast it. The only I could have done it if I didn't have a cable for like an HDMI from my iPad. I couldn't find that. I could have done
Oh,
that,
yeah.
but I
Because I
couldn't
was
find my
thinking,
adapter
isn't
for that. Yeah.
isn't there Wi-Fi like so when you turn your router on, right?
Hmm.
You're if you have no internet, you could still have Wi-Fi. The router is
Yes.
still broadcasting a signal that can connect to your
Yep.
phone. There's just nothing in the signal.
Yeah.
So
So like
sometimes if you have a closed Wi-Fi system, you still could
you
use
can
the
still use your Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi
Yeah.
even if the internet's down.
Like if I have some
Cellular.
downloaded videos on my iPad or like pictures or something or videos you just
Yeah.
take with your camera, you can even if you don't have internet, you can still use your Wi-Fi to cast it.
Yes. But not when it's streaming from,
Not when it's streaming.
yeah,
Yeah. So yeah,
interesting.
it was extremely frustrating. And then, like I said, I was so into that show after 5 minutes, it didn't even matter that I was watching it on a little 10-inch screen. So
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
it was not having
Wow.
internet for a while, besides on your phone, is not a fun place. I'm so used to my computer that
You know what? It's not, but I also maybe I'm weird or I'm just doing dad mode, but I also like kind of it's not the worst thing in the
it
world.
does have its charms. There's no question about
You know, you return like when I remember that was actually a really fun night when our power went out a couple weeks ago. Not that I want it to happen again, anyone,
it.
but when it went out, we sat together, we put a candle in the middle of the living room, we talked a lot.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? We told some stories, we played a game, we looked out the window, we checked when the power was going to
The
come
uh
back on.
the few times we've had that happen, Luke will get scared because it's so quiet in the
Oh,
house. Because
yeah.
you don't have the furnace or the air conditioner's not running or the fridge isn't running and it's just dead silent and he like gets panicked. He's like, somebody's gonna come and rob us or somebody's gonna do this.
Oh,
It's so quiet.
that did happen. That's so funny you say that because we were standing near the window when the power went out, and this car kind of went back and up and down the street. And Lachlan was like, "What's that car?" And I was like, "Well, you got to be careful. Looters come out when the power goes out, Locke." And Perry was like, "Be quiet." And I was like, "It's true. They spot the house. We got to be careful. Let's get ready." And then he kind of walked away, right? I
Uh-huh.
didn't think about it. Hours later, it occurs to me, the dad sense kicks in. And I say to him, "Hey buddy, you didn't really think that people come and rob houses, did you?" And he was like, "Kinda, Dad." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh buddy, that's not gonna happen. We live in a very safe neighborhood. You're gonna be fine, dude. Nobody's gonna rob our house." And he was like, "Okay." I was like, "Is that gonna make you sleep better?" He's like, "Yeah, Dad."
Yeah.
And I gave him a big
That's
hug. I was like, "Oh, I didn't realize."
I do that. There's times where I do that where I'll be like, because like usually there is not much traffic on our road at all. Like there'll be
Yeah.
some times where we can go 8, 10 hours and nobody drives by. And there's a few times if when it gets real, and I'm like a quarter mile off the road, so you usually don't hear any traffic. But if the wind stops blowing, and sometimes like a semi truck or something will drive by at like 1 in the morning, and a couple times when it's been still, Luke will get freaked out and he's like, "Somebody's coming to the house!" Something, and I one time made the mistake of, "Oh yeah, that's somebody coming to knock at the door," or whatever I said, and it just freaked him the hell out because that's the same thing. They didn't
Oh,
the old sarcasm thing,
well,
but yeah, so fun
what are you
times.
gonna do, Ando? those
fun,
kids.
fun dad times.
Yeah, makes you realize how important what you say is to your kids, you
I
know?
know.
Makes you think
Luckily,
about
my boys
that.
are
It's kind
finally
of
starting to
scary.
understand sarcasm, so that's helping me a ton.
Um,
Even Dad's was like, "Is that a joke?" So
that's going to
they're
be a joy, Andy.
I
That's
that's
when they flip that back on you.
yeah. Oh, it's
Go
the
get
one
your
that's really
socks
gonna
on. I did, Dad.
the one that's really gonna hate it is my wife. I can chirp right
Oh,
back. Claire will
yeah,
not have much patience for. She teaches eighth grade, so she
yeah.
already gets enough of that at work.
Enough of that sass. Go
Yeah,
sit
that's
down.
exactly that is exactly what happens.
Yeah. All right.
I can't say I blame her. So
All right, buddy. I got to eat.
yep, let's
This
get
is
out of
always
here.
great talking to you, man. We could,
Yep.
and you know what? As we move forward, and we're gonna do Duster, but I don't know what else because there's not a ton of shows. You could do a rewatch or something, but I want to do more shows like this. I do want to do more reality, but I do want to do the Dad's Pod
Hmm.
with Mike and maybe with John
John.
too,
Yeah.
and if everyone's still interested. So as summer goes on, I just want to mention that on a podcast in case they're
Yeah.
listening that I still want to do that. I just think that it'd be good to be able to do it and have fun with it
Hmm.
and kind of get onto a little bit of schedule because that's like a once a monther. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's not like a once a weeker. That's a once a
No.
monther.
Yeah. Or special circumstances or something where
Yes,
something comes
exactly. We
up. But
check in, we keep the feed up. People, oh, hey, there's a new one here. It's not like we're not trying to get like sponsors for the Dad Pod.
yeah.
It's kind of a way for us all to talk. We end up talking about this stuff on the podcast anyway.
It's,
Like it's just fun
yes.
to be able to have the freedom to just talk about the dad shit.
Yep. Well, and you know what? If Alien Earth ends up looking good, it's supposed to come out this summer. So
Oh,
I think
there we go. We
June
got
or July,
another
I think I
one.
saw. So we'll see. If it looks like it's
All
going to
right.
be garbage, no, but you never know.
Oh,
Otherwise,
we're doing it. It's done.
okay.
It's happening. Look, Grandpa James wants it. It happens. I know he
Okay.
wants us to do that show. We're fucking doing it.
That's
Okay? We're
I
doing
think
it.
that's perfect. And there's a lot of other stuff coming back too, like Handmaid's Tale and other things like that are coming back too.
Yeah.
So
Gina will be doing that. And oh, by the way,
yes.
Andy, if you would like to come on and talk with us about White Lotus on next Wednesday, you are welcome because Gina will not be available.
Oh,
She
this is the
is
two that she
away.
said she's not going to be on. Okay.
Yep.
I will. I'm not sure yet what my schedule is going to be, but I
All
will keep
right.
that in mind.
All
Oh,
righty. Well, let's see.
just because I happen to think of it real
1:30.
quick. You and Solo were talking about Duster the last week,
Yeah.
and I was laughing my ass off because you guys were just talking about the little bit of a trailer, and you immediately went into, I think they're in VR or something. And Solo's reaction was like, Jesus Christ, Axel, are you kidding me? I was laughing. So like I was listening to you guys while Des was sleeping next to me because daycare was I was like afraid I was gonna let wake Des up. I was
Oh
laughing
my
so hard.
God.
It
That's
was beautiful.
hilarious. All right, I gotta go, man. I'm
Yep.
getting a call.
Let's get out of
Um,
here.
okay. Peace out, brothers. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm gonna try to do